Today I'm going to teach you what gear you need to get into rock climbing. What's up everybody, it's Braden here today and welcome to Trail Talk Tuesday. Obviously we're not on a trail, we're in my backyard because everything is still closed sadly because of this COVID-19, but I want to teach you guys a few things that you might need if you're interested in getting into rock climbing. Obviously right now all the gyms are closed sadly, but I'm going to list off some of the things you need, where you can go, and it's a great sport to get into. I highly recommend it. To start off, it's super simple to get into. If you really wanted to, I mean, you could get into it for, obviously you can rent gear at gyms if you don't have the gear. So I recommend going to a gym such as Edgeworks, Climb Tacoma, Vertical World, Seattle Bouldering Project. Any of these gyms, there's so many in Washington, mostly in the Seattle area. But if you live in Tacoma, I go to Edgeworks. A little expensive, but it's a great gym. They have tall walls and bouldering. And I'm going to teach you some gear. It depends on what you want to get into. So if you're just doing bouldering, which is the shorter walls, about 15 feet, 20 feet maybe, usually lower than that, you can get into that without having to have too much gear. So bouldering requires really just shoes, which I'll get into shoes in a minute, and a chalk bag. First thing I recommend you buy is, if you're just doing bouldering, I recommend getting a chalk bag because you can rent shoes at the gym, but if you're getting into bouldering, it's nice to have your own chalk bag so you're not having to ask people for chalk. Chalk's pretty cheap, and it just, helps you to have more grip. They come in these little pouches and you fill them up with it, whatever chalk you want. So chalk bag would be the first thing. If you're just getting into bouldering, then I'd recommend a chalk bag and to buy a pair of shoes. These are some Batora shoes. These are what a lot of gyms will rent. These are a little bit more advanced version, which means that they have a smaller or a bigger arch, more aggressive is what you would call shoes, but they're still pretty flat. These you can pick up for about $75, and I definitely recommend them. They're cheaper on the climbing side, but I climbed with these for about a year. I just picked up some La Sportivas, but I haven't actually climbed with these yet because obviously they're very aggressive, good grip, good rubber on them, but they're a half size too small, and since I got them during the quarantine, I can't send them back right this moment. So shoes, they'll range anywhere from $50. I recommend looking at La Sportiva, Scappa, Black Diamond, or Batora, I believe is how you say it, and good shoes to look into. If you want to get into rope climbing, obviously you still need shoes and you still need a chalk bag, but something that you want to get next is a harness. I have this in a little pouch. It's my Black Diamond harness. Sorry, it's a little bit windy out here. There's a lot of companies out there, Black Diamond, Petzl. These are the two I've climbed with before. Blue Ice sells harnesses. Just search climbing harnesses and make sure it's a verified brand, but you can pick up a harness for anywhere from, I want to say, about $40 to $100. They're not super expensive. So it's always great. The things I would say, this is the middle line right here of like really getting into rock climbing and then beginner rock climbing. Get a harness, chalk bag, and then you want a belay device. So most people will get these. These are, I want to say they're called ATC, and they're manual. So you put the rope through and then you hook this onto your harness and you just, belay, paying attention. Obviously you always want to be paying attention, but if you're getting more advanced, you can pick up these for like $30. If you want to get more advanced, you can get a Petzl Gree. These are great for beginners because you don't have to have as much skill with them. You just open it up, put the rope through, and these are an auto braking, which means that if you got hit in the head by a rock and somebody fell, it would catch them. So I usually give my friends these whenever I am taking them climbing and they've never belayed before, but I always will teach them on the original. I use Black Diamond. These are nice. Always good to have one of these just in case. That's the beginner gear you want right there. If you're getting more advanced, the next thing, this is mostly, you could climb in a gym with all of this stuff. The next thing would be a rope. This is a great rope for gyms. This is a 30-meter Black Diamond rope, and these get kind of expensive. I want to say, ropes can be anywhere from like $60 to like $600, depending on what you're getting. For gyms, you don't need more than 30 meters, so you can pick up one of these. I picked up this actually to climb local small stuff, and then also for the Tatoosh range. If you're trying to get into rock climbing or you just want to explore more in the mountains outdoors, you can pick up one of these because the Tatoosh range has very short pitches, like 50 feet max for some of them. So this is a good for small outdoor, but mostly for indoor sport climbing. back onto the rope. You can get ropes in 30 meters, 50 meters, 60 meters, 70 meters. And I highly recommend getting like a 50-meter rope if you're doing a lot of outdoor climbing. That's a good lightweight rope to bring in. We have a 70-meter dry rope. And the difference between a dry and a non-dry is that a dry rope you can alpine climb with, where a non-dry rope will soak up water and then it can freeze and break. So you want to make sure if you're getting into alpine to buy a dry rope, but if you're just doing indoor climbing or summer climbing, a non-dry rope is fine. The next thing that you're going to want to pick up if you're getting into outdoor climbing is a helmet. I went with the Black Diamond. These are a one-time use. If you get hit really hard in the head, you're going to want to buy a new one because the foam will be pressed in. But these save lives. I mean, I had a friend who fell, hit his head, and managed to get out of it, just a little scratch. You definitely want to pick up one of these. I wear one of these when climbing in the Tatoosh range just because I'm scared of other people knocking rocks off. And a rock flying down a hill will kill you instantly, so you definitely want to. I've seen people die up on the mountain before because of rocks and they didn't even know they were going to be coming. So helmet is highly important if you're getting into outdoor climbing. Sport climbing is a little bit different, but if you're doing trad climbing, you definitely want a helmet, or even alpine climbing. And then speaking of sport climbing, if you're getting into sport climbing, you want to pick up some carabiners with either just normal carabiners or quick draws. You always want to have a couple carabiners left over on your harness, but quick draws are what you hook the rope into. So you're going to hook in on this side, and then some have closed, gate, or not closed gate, but a solid gate, and some have wire gates. It all depends preference, weight, how you like the feel of it. This one is both, and this one is only wire gates. These are so you can hook into bolts or into trad gear, which we'll get into in a minute, so that then you can hook your rope into it and have protection on the route. If you're just sport climbing, you can pick up just these and a rope and obviously all this stuff and hook into a route and go climbing. But if you don't have sport routes, like in the Tatoosh range Yosemite has a lot of non-sport routes, a lot of places have non-sport routes, then you want to pick up trad gear. And at the moment I only have what would be called like walnuts, and they come in different sizes, from tiny little ones like this to big ones like this. And what you do is you put these in the crack, you pull down, get it lodged in the crack, then you unhook it and put a quick draw on it or a carabiner on it, and then that's your gear when you don't have bolts. Trad gear or trad climbing is debatable on what should be trad climbed and what should be bolted, but it can be more dangerous for sure. I have these walnuts, they'll run $60 for a pack of like 4 or 5 sizes, but you definitely want to have a lot. I have what would be considered 3 racks. I have 3 different sets of these, plus like other sizes. So I have plenty of these. But if you have the money and you want to improve, you can get what's called cams, which I'll put on the screen right here. They're these little like mechanical pieces that you put in and you let go and they'll expand, and they're very good. They keep you safe, but they are pricey, like almost $80 to $100 a cam just for one. So if you're just getting into trad climbing, you can do fine with just some nuts. And then finally, something that you could get earlier on if you want is a gym bag. I went with Blue Ice, and they are a great company. They create these awesome climbing bags that actually allow you to put your gear inside and hang them on hooks like a harness has. So you want a bag to either do approach bag or a gym bag, depending on what you're doing. Gym bag could just be a backpack you had in school or something. An approach bag, you want to make sure it has, really comfortable, probably a chest strap, maybe a waist strap, and place to put your rope and helmet and all of that stuff. So I use this for alpine climbing. But overall, this is the main things that you're going to want to buy when you're getting into rock climbing. Beginner shoes first, I recommend, because these will hurt your feet real bad, and rock climbing is not the most comfortable sport anyways. So yeah, start out here and move your way into it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe down below. Sorry Trail Talk Tuesday hasn't really been on the trail. It's been kind of at home stuff, but once the parks open back up, I'll be getting out there soon to make more videos. So thank you, and I'll talk to y'all later.